Stay. Stay. Go fetch it. Fetch it here. Come on. Fetch it. Good dog. Come on. Right, well, 2 weeks ago now I've been down on the farm. I've got permission on. The barley, which is to the right there, that's been in over 2 weeks now. All the straw's in and they've started ploughing the fields over for next year's rotation. The wheat, similarly, that's been in for, well, almost a week now. The straw's in for that and they've still got to plough over the fields. But these ears of corn are what was missed by the combine, and in the case of the barley what was missed by the ploughing over, so they're just from the margins of the field, and I do have permission to take these. So I've got these then, and that's to do with the parcel which I've had for a while now but not opened yet, and I'm going to see if we can't from scratch make some bread or scones or biscuit or something out of these, and just to get an idea what work's involved to it's fairly easy to collect it, although a little tedious, and to thresh it, to sieve it, and to winnow it, and then of course to mill the grain down. So you probably guessed what the parcel is now, but there'll be some excitement in opening it, so I'll open it on camera, and I've got no idea how effective it'll be, which is why there's no point going out and picking a lot of heads when we don't know what's really involved. So this is just a look-see. Right, so the idea for the threshing is just to get a cloth bag. You could use a polythene bag, I suppose. You could use your trousers, I suppose, or a shirt sleeve or something, and put the barley in without spilling too much of it. Might be too much for all in one go. I'll do it in two portions. And then you've got it contained in the bag, so you can actually give it a jolly good beating and a crushing up, just to break it all up into its parts. That seems to be a good method of doing it, although I have seen people beating it with this is just a piece of plastic tubing. Go and lie down. No, drop it. No. No. Come out of it. Right, well the big problem I've got is there's no wind to do the winnowing. So I've rigged up the forge blower directly into the solar panel. Will you get your mouth out of there? We don't want the contents all wet. So it's rigged up directly to the solar panel. no battery involved at all, and that's easily enough to run one motor. And if I put a shadow on the panel, that's putting a shadow on the panel. Just shows how much one little shadow makes. Anyway, let's try this. Okay, so what I'm doing is working fairly well, but there's one process I think which you need to put in, and that's a sieving process in between the threshing and the winnowing, and that'll make life a lot easier and a lot quicker. So we need a sieve of the size just to let the grains through, but not the larger pieces of stem. But I think we've got something that's workable there. That's workable. So we're going to go with that. So that's the barley. So next we'll do the wheat, and we'll see what sort of difference we get. Right, well, I've just about come to the end of this exercise and this video. There's a few points I'd like to cover which I feel are important just before I finish, and that is, it is very, very important to get your wheat and your barley or whatever you're processing really crisp dry. This is the second day and I'm just finishing off, and I've found out that things have dried out a little bit more and it's a lot easier to work with. So crisp dry. The other thing is you can use quite a bit of force. I put the heads in a pillowcase to be able to break them up, and that worked out quite well, and I've still got a few to do, so you've got to put a bit of energy into it to get them separated. So that was the threshing stage in the bag, just to break them all up into the constituent parts. And just as an offshoot, I don't know, but a bit of a gold panning technique, and you can get a degree of separation. So I don't know whether there's any mileage in that, maybe it's not, but you can get all the chaff to come right up to the top. So that's just chaff now, so I could just take all that lot off and save a good bit of mess just using a gold panning technique. Yes, I have done some gold panning in my time. Right, so before we went to the next stage, from the threshing to the winnowing, I really could have done with a sieving stage, but I don't have a sieve of the right mesh size. But that would have taken out a lot of the larger pieces of the backbone, if you like, the backbone of the head. So for next year I'm going to try and get a sieve of the right mesh size. and I'm going to use that before I go on to the threshing. Before I go on to the winnowing. For the winnowing, there's been no wind for the past 2 days, so I quickly rigged up a fan, and the output of the fan is not ideal. For a future project I would change the output of the fan. I'd probably change the fans altogether, wouldn't use these fans, use something different. And that worked reasonably well. I was just pouring it from pan to pan with all the chaff blowing all over the place, but it mainly settled around this area, so it made a right mess. And now, just to finish this last lot off here, I've put down, I don't know whether you can see it in the bottom of your screen there, but I've put a tarpaulin down just to catch a lot of that. Now I suspect as well that before we go on to the next stage, that it wants to be dried out a little bit more, because it will dry out some more, so that those grains are going to break up in the mill and turn into flour, hopefully. But that's for the next video, is the unboxing of the mill. I haven't even opened it yet, and I've had it for about 2 weeks, but I wanted to do it on camera because it will be exciting, though I am prepared for a degree of disappointment because it didn't cost me very much at all. So that's about it then. We're learning as we go, but we've got what we set out to get. I need a little bit more yet. The only other thing I will say is that there is a big difference between the wheat, which, apart from a few grains in here which still have a bit of chaff on them, a bit of husk on them, they are fairly clean. Whereas the barley comes off still in a husk, so it'll be interesting to see how the two mill out. But I am making sure that they get totally dried out before I put them through the mill. And that's about it. Just one other unrelated but interesting thing that we discovered. I'll swing you around. You'll know I started off with the blower there, which is 2 airbed pumps, and I had them connected directly to the solar panel at first. But whenever a shadow, just a little shadow covering about, I don't know, 2 or 3 cells, maybe even 1 cell, power dropped off massively. So I put the battery in the circuit, 12 volt car battery, and that steadied things down, especially when the dog would walk past the solar panel and such. So, unrelated, but it just goes to show that if you're running a solar panel for charging your gear or anything, just a small shadow can make a massive difference. So you might only have a very, very small area of the solar panel shadowed, but power's going to really drop off. So that was an interesting side effect. Something we should know about anyway. So that's it then. That concludes the threshing and winnowing, and I'll leave it till the next video to do the unboxing of the mill and to see how we get on with that. And hopefully the aim is to make something from the flour. So I'll catch you in probably less than a week, but it just depends how things go, because as I say, I haven't even opened the mill yet, and I'm not expecting great things because I didn't pay a great price for it. But if it works and I can get along with it, I'll do what I can with it,
and if I think it's worth it another year I might get a better one. Anyway, I've got a little bit to do, a little bit of winnowing to do, and then I'm finished on this side of it. So I'm waffling on. I'll catch you in a few days to a week.